Think you know the story of Thomas Edison, the man who lit up the world? The great inventor, sleeping in his lab, a flash of genius, and the light bulb? What if I told you that story is only a tiny part of the truth? That the real man behind the name was far more complex, more fascinating, and in many ways, more human than the legend lets on. Today we're not just listing facts, we're going on a journey into the heart and mind of a man who changed everything. This is the untold story of Thomas Edison. Our story begins not with a sound, but with a silence. Imagine this: the man who gave us recorded sound, the phonograph, was almost completely deaf. From the age of 12, a childhood illness and a train accident left Edison with severe hearing loss. But he never saw it as a disability. He called it an advantage. He believed his deafness helped him concentrate, shutting out the noisy world so he could focus entirely on the whispers of his own imagination. He would bite down on the wood of his phonograph to feel the vibrations of the music. He didn't just hear his inventions, he felt them in his bones. Long before the light bulb, there was a young boy, just 12 years old, working as a newsboy on a train. One day, he saw a toddler playing on the tracks, unaware of a boxcar rolling directly towards him. Without a second thought, the boy leaped onto the tracks, grabbed the child, and rolled to safety. The grateful father, a station master, was so thankful he taught the boy how to operate a telegraph machine. That boy was Thomas Edison, and that skill became his ticket into the world of invention. His first act of heroism wasn't with a machine, but with his own two hands. At 16, while working as a telegraph operator, he took a night job. His only duty? Report to the central office every hour by telegraph, with the simple signal 6 to show he was awake. Edison, ever the inventor, created a device that would automatically send the 6 every hour so he could, well, sleep. It worked perfectly. Until one night, a freight train jumped the tracks, causing a huge collision. The station master ran to telegraph for help, but the line was busy, with Edison's machine dutifully sending it 6. He was fired on the spot. Even geniuses make mistakes that cost them their jobs. His first patented invention was an electric vote recorder for lawmakers. He thought it would make voting faster and more accurate. But politicians hated it. They liked the slow process. It gave them time to negotiate and change minds. The machine was a complete commercial failure. Edison learned a crucial lesson that day. An invention isn't just about being clever. It's about solving a problem people actually want solved. Now this is the big one, the moment you've been waiting for. The truth is, Edison did not invent the light bulb. Others had created glowing lights decades before him. But their bulbs were impractical, expensive, and burned out in minutes. Edison's genius wasn't in the idea. It was in the execution. His mission was to create a bulb that was safe, affordable, and long-lasting. A light for every home. Which brings us to one of the most famous stories about persistence. A reporter once asked him, "Mr. Edison, how did it feel to fail 1,000 times?" Edison's reply was legendary. He said, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. He and his team tested over 6,000 different materials for the filament, from bamboo to cedar, even a hair from a colleague's beard, before finding the right one. It wasn't a single moment of genius. It was a war of attrition, fought one experiment at a time. While working on the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell's invention, Edison needed a better transmitter. In his notes, he was searching for a word that would be unmistakable when spoken over a crackly line. He proposed, "Hello." Before this, people would answer the phone with "Ahoy" or "Are you there?" Edison's simple, clear hello caught on and became the standard greeting for the entire world. Every time you answer your phone, you're using a little piece of Edison. Edison didn't work alone in a dusty attic. He created the world's first industrial research lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey. He called it an invention factory. he hired mathematicians, engineers, and clockmakers. Their goal? To produce a minor invention every 10 days and a big thing every 6 months or so. This was a radical idea. He turned invention from a solitary pursuit into a team sport, and in doing so, he invented the very concept of R&D. The very first words ever successfully recorded on his phonograph were slightly unexpected. He leaned into the horn and recited the nursery rhyme, "Mary had a little lamb." But years later, as he was dying, his physician attempted to capture his final words for posterity on a phonograph cylinder placed by his bed. The last breath of the man who gave us recorded sound. It's a moment of profound poetry and sadness. The cylinder, however, has never been found. And in a final, almost mythical twist, as Edison lay dying, his son Charles captured his father's last breath in a test tube. It was a symbolic gesture, a belief that the soul, the very essence of life, departed with the final breath. That test tube, sealed and preserved, is now held in the Henry Ford Museum. A literal container for the spirit of a man whose ideas still breathe life into our world every single night when we flip on a light switch. So who was Thomas Edison? He wasn't just the man with the light bulb. He was a deaf boy who learned to listen with his heart. A failed inventor who saw failure as a necessary step. A leader who built a factory for dreams. His story teaches us that genius isn't always a lightning bolt of inspiration. More often, it's the stubborn, relentless glow of a filament, tested 1,000 times, refusing to go out. He gave us light, sound, and a simple hello. But his greatest gift was showing us that the future isn't just discovered. It's built. One step, one failure, one brilliant idea at a time. What will you build? Thank you for joining us. Until next time. Goodbye.